Okay, really briefly, because this may not appeal to you if you're thinking of this year having you've got an ambitious plan to really build your portfolio at pace. Usually you tend to think of buying properties one at a time, and that's the majority of people. But we get on a reasonable regular basis inquiries and landlords that want to buy a portfolio. Now, why would you buy multiple properties at once? Well, if you are thinking of doing that, you're in a minority to start with. There's not many buyers in this market, and that means you're in a strong negotiating position. So getting significant discounts as a buyer, I see as the broker who organises the finance, that landlords that are buying portfolios can normally negotiate larger discounts than maybe buying one at a time, simply because there's fewer buyers, as I said. In addition to that, where do these sort of portfolios sort of hang out? Again, there's usually sort of two camps. You've got landlords that are perhaps retiring and now they've always wanted to exit by selling the portfolio. And so there's an opportunity there. You go into landlords that are retiring to negotiate purchasing part or all of the portfolio. And the other category tends to be developers. They want to get out once they're getting towards the back end of a development and they get into the last few of the portfolio, perhaps, then negotiating a discount with buyers to get rid of the last one so they can liquidate the cash so they can move on to the next project and then get the teeth into the next one so they can make their next pot of money. So those are the two sort of main camps that I see as a broker where you see your portfolios. Now, there's two ways to purchase a portfolio. What looks on the surface more simplistic, particularly if that portfolio is in a limited company, that you actually buy the shares of that limited company. There's certainly lower transaction costs, stamp duty costs involved. So on the surface, that does look appealing. However, here's the thing. Here's the issue. Lenders find that method quite unappealing. Now, the reason that is that if you are buying the shares of the company, you're also buying any liabilities of that company. Any decisions that the directors have made historically that might come back to bite the new shareholders that you may or may not know about. It might actually be the real reason that landlord is selling the portfolio, because they're aware of something significant that's coming down the line in terms of a claim or a liability that's not yet in the public domain, and they want out before that liability hits the fan, as it were. So if you take over the shares, then you take over the historical decisions of the previous director shareholders. And that's where the lenders see the unknown risk of financing the purchase of a portfolio through the share purchase. And that's why there's little appetite on that basis. The alternative, and what lenders really much prefer, is that if you, as the landlord, are buying the individual properties out of the limited company and moving the asset into a brand new limited company, that means there's no historical liability. So as you can now understand, lenders love that approach. However, there's more transaction costs involved. But that just means, from your point of view, that's stronger negotiation. If there's more costs involved, then you want a bigger discount to counter those transaction costs. And that's what our landlords do. And if they can, then, if you can negotiate significant discounts, it might be that can be used as part of the deposit. So obviously one of the downsides, or one of the prohibitive factors of buying a portfolio is, well, I've got to get a bigger chunk of money for the deposits, and I can't raise that finance to that pace to buy a portfolio. Well, you might be surprised. We work with landlords who seem, once you've got the the portfolio to buy, then you start looking for larger investors who've got bigger chunks of money. And we're already working with a client that is working with investors who are bringing in multiple £1 million worth of cash onto the table, and therefore, as brokers, we can organise the mortgages for £5 to £10 million worth of finance to facilitate the purchase of a significant 20 or 30 strong portfolio. So something else that I've seen on this basis is that landlords, if they've not done this before, need the confidence that there's going to be lenders that are going to lend £5 to £10 million, and landlords are continually surprised at the fact that there's lenders out there that lend and back them to that sort of tune. And again, we may split that across multiple lenders. And again, if you are interested in understanding how this might work a little more, then we'd talk offline about that. Just book some time in with the team, and we talk about how, rather than having all your eggs in one basket, we can bring in 2, 3, 4 different lenders to finance the purchase, which can be better for you. It's certainly better for the lender, and then it's the good news is it's going to get you into and accelerate your portfolio journey if you can get 10 or 20 properties in rather than one at a time. So if that excites you and you want to know more about how you might build a portfolio at a quicker pace, then book some time in with the team, and we'll be delighted to share a little bit more of an insight into how that happens.